Penguin Random House Audio presents Any Dream Will Do by Debbie Macomber. Read for you by Mark Deakins and Laurel Rankin.
Summer 2017. Dear friends, we all need second chances, sometimes third and fourth chances. When I think of all the diets I've tried over the years, I could easily lose count of the times I've had to start over. It was thinking about second chances that made me realize I'd like to write a story along those lines. Readers often ask me what inspires a book. I got the idea for Any Dream Will Do while in prison. It's not what you're thinking. I spoke at the Washington Corrections Center for Women a few months back. What I realized afterward was that these women were not all that different from you and me. They'd all made mistakes and they were paying the price. Around the same time I visited the Corrections Center, our family became involved with Seattle's Union Gospel Mission in Hope Place. My daughter Adele, who is my CEO, has gone out in several search and rescue missions serving the needs of the homeless. Several of my staff have since joined her on these nighttime sojourns, ministering to people living on the streets. And so Any Dream Will Do was born. This is a story of redemption, of second chances, of learning from our mistakes and moving forward. I hope you fall in love with Shay and Drew the way I did. This book is dedicated to our wonderful son-in-law, Greg Banks. Over a year ago, Greg was in a car accident, and the surgery that followed left him paralyzed on one half of his body. This has been a huge life adjustment for Greg and our daughter, Jody. Their faith, love, and support of each other amazes me every single day. Hearing from my readers is one of my greatest joys as an author. As I like to say, I'm downright friendly, so please don't hesitate to contact me. You can do it in a number of ways. The best place is to leave me a note on my website at debbiemacomber.com or Facebook or on Twitter. You can also write me at Post Office Box 1458, Port Orchard, Washington 98366. Warmest regards, Debbie.
Prologue. I need the money. My brother's eyes showed a desperation I had never seen in him before. Shay, he pleaded, you don't understand. If I don't have it by tomorrow night, they will kill me. They? I repeated. Who are they? But I knew. Caden had been waiting for me outside my tiny apartment that I shared with 3 roommates, pacing in front of my door when I got off work at the bank. I hadn't seen him in weeks, which was never a good sign. In some ways, I was grateful he'd stayed out of my life. This was my chance, the first real one I'd had, and my brother was trouble. Tell me what happened, I said, as I unlocked my apartment. He followed me inside and rammed his fingers through his hair, with enough strength to uproot several strands. It's complicated. It always was with Caden. I'd been looking out for him nearly his entire life. But for once, I had to think about myself. My gut was churning as I set the tea kettle on the stove, afraid of what he was going to tell me. Caden had met a lot of his bad connections through me, and one boyfriend in particular. I'd fallen in deeper with Shooter than I'd ever intended. But through a community program, I'd managed to break away from that lifestyle. With the help of one of the counselors, I'd landed a job, a good one at a bank. For the first time in my life, I had a chance at making something of myself. I had a shot at getting away from the gangs and the drugs and the lifestyle that would eventually lead to either prison or death. I had a small taste of what the future could be if I stayed away from people determined to hold me down. I'd made mistakes, big ones, but I was working hard to put that behind me. I should have known it wouldn't work. Not for someone like me. Caden was here to remind me I'd been living a pipe dream. Who's threatening to kill you? I asked again, already anticipating the answer. It was Shooter, or one of his gang members. My brother closed his eyes and gripped hold of my forearm hard enough to cause a bruise. You know. You're hanging with the angels again? I'd repeatedly warned Caden to stay away from the gang, which was anything but angelic. He didn't respond, which was answer enough. My hands trembled as I brought down 2 mugs and reached for the tea bags. My back was to Caden. "How much do you need?" I asked as I gritted my teeth. I'd managed to save a few $100s. All I could do was hope that would be enough. He hesitated before blurting out, $5,000. "Dollars?" I gasped. The figure stunned me to the point my knees felt weak, as if they were no longer capable of holding me upright. Caden had to know that amount was impossible for me. No way could I come up with that much. "I don't have that kind of money." "Can you borrow it?" he pleaded. His dark brown eyes, so like my own, were wild, his voice frantic. "I'm not joking, Shay. If I don't hand over the money by tomorrow, I'm a dead man." Doing my best to remain calm, I looped a long strand of my auburn hair around my ear, racking my brain. No one was going to loan me that kind of cash. Working as a bank teller, I barely made enough to get by myself. Between rent and my accounting classes, I was already stretched financially. The few dollars I'd managed to save came from doing without lunch and eating ramen noodles for dinner. Before I could explain that the possibility of a loan was hopeless, Caden tried again. "What about the bank?" he suggested, his gaze holding mine. A tingling feeling started at the base of my neck and worked its way down my spine. Even before I answered, I knew what Caden was thinking. My brother lowered his voice, as if he expected someone was listening in through the thin apartment walls. "Can you get the money from the bank?" he asked. "You mean a loan?" "No, they aren't going to loan me that kind of cash on what I make. I don't have anything for collateral." While I had a driver's license, I used public transportation. No way could I afford a car, not even a scooter. Caden knew that. "Not a loan, sis. The bank isn't going to miss it, at least not for a couple of days. You take the money, and before anyone notices, I'll have it for you to replace. No one will even know." The knot in my stomach tightened to the point of pain. Surely Caden knew what he was asking me. I had hope for the first time since our mother died, and now he was asking me to give it all up for him. The bank would miss that money, and it wouldn't take them 5 minutes to figure out I was the one who took it. Stiffening my spine, I decided then and there I wasn't going to throw away my future because my idiot brother had gotten himself into this kind of trouble. "I can't. The bank doesn't work like that. The missing money will be discovered the same day." "Shay, please. You know I wouldn't ask this of you if I wasn't desperate." "I'm sorry." Caden slammed his fist against the tabletop. "Do you want me dead?" he shouted. I flinched and shrunk back, half expecting him to hit me. It was what our father would have done. If you don't help me, you're signing my death warrant." The kettle whistled as the water started to boil. I removed it from the burner and noticed how badly my hands were trembling. Caden was my brother, my only living relative. I'd looked after him when our mother died, and later after our father passed, although his death had been a blessing as far as I was concerned. Despite everything I had sacrificed for Caden, I tried my best to help him. But it seemed he was determined to continue to make poor choices. I wanted to rant at him for being weak, but then I had been weak too. I felt responsible for introducing him to the angels. "Where will you get the money to repay me?" I asked. Caden paced the tiny kitchen and ignored the mug I offered him. "People owe me." $5,000? I asked, unable to hide my doubt. "I swear on our mother's life, I'll have the money by the end of the week." Our mother had been everything to us. Everything. Caden had never sworn on her life before. I wanted to believe him, but remained uncertain. He let me down countless times, and I wasn't sure I should trust him. Not that it would matter. Even if I did replace the money, I'd lose my job. Burying my face in my hands, I sank into the chair and closed my eyes. "Let me think." "While you're thinking, the minutes are ticking away." He sounded more angry than worried now, furious with me for not immediately agreeing to his plan. "I can't believe you. I'm your brother. You could save my life and you need to think about it?" I exhaled a staggered breath. "You're the one who got into this mess, not me." Caden's face fell as if I'd wounded him. He fell to his knees and pressed his forehead against...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?